Greetings, Mr. Rogues here with yet another video for you. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this video for a very long time. People have been nagging me for a video about Film Freak for years. Basically ever since I started this channel, people have requested Film Freak. Well, now you finally have a Merry Christmas. This is my present to you. Film Freak. Now who the heck is Film Freak? For those of you who don't know who he is, well, he's an obscure Batman villain, obviously. He made his first appearance in Batman 395, published in 1986. The issue was written by Doug Mensch and penciled by Tom Mandrake. This is actually the first part of a three-parter that continued into the next issue of Batman, as well as an issue of Detective Comics. Film Freak has a somewhat convoluted origin story, but I'll do my best to describe it to you. His real name is Burt Weston, an obvious play on Burt Ward and Adam West from the 60s Batman TV show, and he was a failed actor who always dreamed of playing villains, as he felt villains were much richer roles. He always wanted to play larger-than-life crazy villains on the big screen, but he just couldn't make it. He only got tiny bit parts. And when he was finally up for a big villainous role in a movie about a murderous psychopath, the director changed his mind and cast someone else. That was the final straw for Burt Weston. He came up with a very kooky scheme to fake his own death as part of a publicity stunt. He enlisted the help of a fellow failed actor friend and had him shoot him to death on a bridge in front of a ton of people. Of course, he wasn't actually shot to death, it was just blanks and fake blood. And Weston threw himself into the river down below and swam to safety. He figured that this would be a huge news story and he would then come back, revealing that he wasn't actually dead. And this would somehow get his career on the tracks finally? I don't know, it's kind of strange logic here. Needless to say, it didn't work. Nobody cared, it was not a huge news story, and Burt Weston remained as forgotten as he had always been. Plan failed. So what does good old Burt do instead? Well, I guess he goes crazy bonkers. He becomes the Film Freak and starts committing film-themed crimes. Mainly he just goes after people he feels have wronged him, including his own girlfriend and that director who didn't cast him in that big movie. And he spouts classic movie quotes all the time. He also likes dressing up as a gorilla because King Kong, I guess. Yeah, not exactly a fantastic character, but certainly the blueprints for a fantastic character. At the end of the story, Film Freak is naturally beaten and caught by Batman and Robin. So what happened to Film Freak next? Well, he didn't make any appearances until Nightfall, when he was released by Bane from Arkham Asylum alongside all the other inmates. And what did Film Freak do during that arc? Well, he was mind-controlled by the Mad Hatter and then killed off by Bane. That's what Film Freak did during Nightfall. And this is probably, most definitely actually, his most famous appearance, because it's Nightfall. Everybody knows Nightfall. Most people only know him from this comic, that bald guy who was killed off by Bane. And was that the last we ever saw of Film Freak? Well, it was the last we ever saw of Burt Weston, but we did get a new Film Freak. Film Freak 2 in Catwoman in 2006. That's right, a second Film Freak debuted in Catwoman solo series. This guy's name was simply Edison. We don't know if it's his first name or his last name. He's just named Edison, and he's a pale vampire-looking dude. This guy is the host of a TV channel that airs old horror movies, and he's completely obsessed with movies, maybe even more so than Burt Weston. He doesn't necessarily speak in movie quotes like Weston did, but he speaks constantly in movie lingo. He refers to everything in life as a script and a third act and so on. He seems to view life as a movie, and he also makes snuff films, and for some reason goes after Catwoman. He appeared for several issues actually as a very big villain in the Catwoman series, and even tried to blow up the entire city with a bomb. What were his motivations? Well, I don't really quite know. I could never figure out Film Freak 2, to be honest. Oddly enough, in these Catwoman issues there are no references whatsoever to the original Film Freak, even though it is the same continuity. I mean, this wasn't after the New 52 or anything. It's supposed to be set in the same continuity, but I guess everybody just forgot about the original Film Freak, like people in the real world have. I guess I can't blame them. After these Catwoman appearances by Film Freak 2, the character hasn't made any further appearances whatsoever, at least to my knowledge. And to my knowledge, he has never appeared outside of comic books. I'm not the biggest fan of what we've seen with the character in these stories, but I do feel that there's a great character in there somewhere. You just need to bring him out. I mean, a movie-themed villain. A villain obsessed with movies. That sounds great. You could do lots with that. He's a perfect fit for the Arkham Asylum crowd too. I mean, a Looney Tune completely obsessed with movies, who sees life as a movie and only speaks in movie quotes. Clearly this guy needs a doctor. So what do you need to do with Film Freak to kind of bring him back, make him into a bigger character? Well, first of all, you need to give him a better visual design, because both Film Freaks had pretty lackluster visual designs. I mean, they're just dudes. A bald dude in a leather jacket and a pale dude wearing a black shirt. Nothing special to look at whatsoever, not memorable at all. There's nothing about these designs that says movie. I mean, looking at them, they could be themed around anything. What you should obviously do is give him some kind of movie-themed costume. Maybe he can change costumes between different iconic movie characters. I don't think that's the best idea though. I feel a character really needs a set design and not keep changing their looks and all of their appearances. But it's better than a simple bald dude. A member of my Discord server, Aham, actually came up with a great visual design for Film Freak. He had him dressed up in an old-styled movie director's outfit. You know, the typical outfits that movie directors usually wore back in the day. I think that would work great, and it certainly screams movie. It lets you see what this character is all about. What else do you need to make Film Freak stand out and really stick around? Well, I think the MOs and motivations of the previous two Film Freaks just weren't really all that great. The first one was just pretty much about revenge on people, and that's not long lasting. What was he gonna do after that if he had achieved his revenge? Then what? Then it's kinda over. And the other one was, well, I don't really know what he wanted. He was kinda weird. I mean, it's pretty simple, in my opinion. Just have him commit movie-themed crimes, because that's what he loves, movies. Robbing cinemas, committing crimes similar to crimes in films, like murders and bank robberies and such that have appeared in famous films. Commit them in the same way. There, you've done it. You've got a great Film Freak. You could give him tons of different origin stories too that would work. He could do something kinda similar to the Jim Carrey movie Cable Guy from the 90s, where he grew up with TV and basically just lived in a TV world and didn't understand the real world at all. He could do something similar with Film Freak, that he grew up with movies and didn't really have a family or friends and kind of lives in a movie world and doesn't understand how the real world works. And I think the character could easily fit into different kinds of Batman versions. He could easily fit into a campy Batman, obviously. You have this guy robbing cinemas, spouting movie quotes that is pretty goofy. Fun and great, but pretty goofy, so he works perfectly for that. But you could also have him fit perfectly into a darker, gritty Batman. If you had him commit crimes from like horror movies, you know, brutal murders, that's obviously perfect for a darker Batman. And it would make for great detective stories, as Batman would have to try and piece together what movie or movie scene Film Freak is gonna homage next. We kinda got that in his original appearance in the 80s. But still, it was kind of rooted in just his revenge on these people. They didn't really use it to its full potential. They didn't really do that. Yeah, that's Film Freak, ladies and gentlemen. I've finally given you Film Freak. Are you happy now? Let me know your opinions on this character down in the comments, and if you have any ideas of how to fix Film Freak. And of course, as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.